All right, welcome everybody. And I want to start by just saying a huge thank you for being here, whether you're here live or if you're able to catch the recording at another time. I just really appreciate you taking the time to hear my voice and to hear my vision. And I'm excited to share it and to share with all of you where I kind of am headed in my work, in my life. And yeah, I would love to start out really quick by just taking a deep breath all together. So if you don't mind humoring me here, go ahead and close your eyes. And you might, if you like to, raise your shoulders up to your ears as you take a nice big inhale. And then as you exhale, let's take a nice big audible sigh. Just let it out. And you can take a few of those if you'd like, but in the essence of time, I'm going to kind of jump right in. So I'm here tonight to share where I'm going and some of my vision. But I think in order to have some context for that, I am going to talk a little bit about where I've been and where I am now and how I've gotten here. So I wanted to start by sharing an experience I had a few years ago that some of you know about, many of you don't. And that was on New Year's Eve as we moved into 2019. I had what most people would probably call a breakdown. And for me, that looked like just like inconsolable hysterical crying. It was like this purging that needed to happen. And it was this kind of accumulation of grief and anger and a number of things that had just accumulated over the previous few years. And the next morning I woke up and jumped into an ice cold river through a patch in the ice. And I swear, as I left the river that day, you know, there's like steam coming off of me and I could feel this, like just all this stuff kind of dissipating. And of course, it wasn't just like one moment in time that shifted everything. It had taken a lot to get there. And there was still some like letting go that happened after that. But I remember even thinking and saying at the time that that felt like I had moved in that 24-hour period through this kind of like energetic portal. And I had been in a really tough spot for a few years since my first daughter was born. Less than a year after that, as I was kind of moving through the transition into motherhood in her first year, my husband and I, we bought a house that ended up having these like catastrophic issues with it. And it was a huge financial burden that we did not expect or anticipate. And our dog died. We, the next year, tried to get pregnant and did, but ended up losing the pregnancy. And so there was just these like this series of incredibly stressful events, one after another in this kind of condensed amount of time. And although I had had a ton of knowledge and experience in the realm of health and well-being, I had been a yoga teacher and been studying yoga for over a decade. I had been working as a Thai therapist doing Thai massage with clients and having just like an incredible experience sharing that work with them as it benefits me as much as it does them. And really just gathering tools. I had, you know, been working in the realm of Reiki. I had worked with the chiropractors and naturopaths and had a lot of resources for taking care of my own health and well-being. And so to find myself in this position where I was like so overcome, kind of overwhelmed by the stresses of my life and moving through this energetic portal, I was kind of in a place where I was like, all right, I have all these tools, I'm taking them with me, I'm letting go of a bunch of stuff, and I'm just going to walk forward being open to what happens. And it was actually later that month that we ended up conceiving who is now my second daughter. And over the course of the first trimester of that pregnancy, I was really anxious, like deep kind of persistent anxiety came in around the baby and my health and her health and all of this, understandably so after having lost a pregnancy. So I ended up going on leave from massage and yoga a little bit earlier than I had with my first pregnancy. And I remember thinking at the time, like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back to this in full integrity to practice how I know I want to practice and how I want to work with people in the world when I have a second young child at home and I'm navigating motherhood of two and the energetic output of all of that. And so I had this kind of feeling like, I don't know what's going to be next for me. I don't know where I'm going to be on the other side of this like birth and postpartum period. So shortly after that, I'm still in this mindset of like, all right, I'm just letting go of things. Surrendering, trusting that it's all going to work out. My husband and I have this vision for where we want to go in our life and what we want to do and how we want to live. And we're just, like taking baby steps, trying to get there, not getting very far, but still consistently moving in this direction. And I knew at that time that this kind of surrender and trust was a big part of my journey in the context of all that. So it just so happened that this opportunity to partner with a superfoods and organic superfood and herbs company kind of landed in my lap. And I had no idea what to think at the time. I had no idea even really what it was all about. When I decided to sign up, it was like late at night. I was feeling depleted. I knew I needed additional support with physical, mental, and emotional, all of it through my pregnancy. And I just signed up for it because I was like, maybe this will do something. A little voice inside of me was like, just try it. And so I did. And it took me a little while to get consistent with the nutrients. But when I did, I found pretty quickly that I was experiencing really incredible benefits. And throughout the rest of my pregnancy and postpartum period, I just continued to feel healthier and stronger. And my postpartum experience was vastly different than it was with my first baby. I like just the mood fluctuations were way less intense. And it just felt like I was strong. I was strong on so many levels as I moved through that whole experience. And shortly after I gave birth and was home, moving through those first few months, I was like, I need to share this with people. And so I started jumping in and learning a lot more and just kind of spending a lot of time in community. And to be honest, I think once COVID hit a few months after that, this community kind of saved me in many ways. It became a lifeline for me to be connected to so many other people who were like-minded and on this path of personal development and just thriving health and well-being, and really sharing this message that we don't need to suffer as much as we are suffering in life these days. And so I wanted to invite my friend and colleague and really someone who's become a dear kind of sister to me, Mary Beth, to share a little bit about at this point, what the company is all about, what the community is all about, and kind of what our mission is, because I think this will also give you another layer of context for what I'll come back to share in a little bit. So Mary is an incredible woman and powerful entrepreneur and mama, and one of her talents, like by far one of her gifts, is to take a lot of information and condense it into a really concise and beautiful, straightforward manner. So go ahead, Mary. I invite you to come on, and I'm excited to hear you share.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. And I just want to thank you for being so vulnerable. There are bits and pieces of that story that I had never actually heard before. And it's really touching to hear your journey and to see where you are now. And one of my favorite memories of meeting Lisa was when we went to a Purium convention together. And that was the first time we had ever met in person. And I just remember Lisa radiating so brightly. She was, oh gosh, probably like 7 or 8 months pregnant at that point. And I just remember seeing you and feeling your heart and realizing that, wow, there is such a home here at Purium for Lisa, because she has such a gift in sharing what she's passionate about. And I can really, as you can hear from her story, she's really passionate about helping people and finding true health. And so I'm here to just talk a little bit about, our core pillars of what Purium is and how that has found alignment with both Lisa and myself life. So our core founding pillars are health, wealth, planet, and purpose. So I have a very similar health story to Lisa. I am a regenerative detox specialist, and I've been in the nutrition field about 15 years. And so when I was 13 months postpartum with my first son, I started to experience postpartum depletion, and I was much like Lisa, like, what's going on? I have all these resources. I have all this knowledge. I have all this education. Why am I feeling depleted? And I started to really research soil quality. And I thought, well, there must be something missing in the food that I'm eating, even though I'm eating so well. And I started to learn that 97% of our soils are considered depleted. And that the food we're eating now is way less devoid of nutrients than it was even 30, 40 40 years ago, because the soil doesn't actually contain a lot of the minerals and vitamins, because we're just depleting it so much through pesticides and large scale agriculture and just overusing and overusing. And so I started to think, wow, there must be something missing in what I'm eating. The soil isn't containing what I need anymore, and that's why I'm depleted. So I kind of went on this journey of researching companies. Are there companies out there that have deeply nourishing foods that are grown in regenerative soils, soils where you put more energy back into the soil than you're taking out of it? Thus, that converts to our food. And then I also started to learn about glyphosate. And if you don't know what glyphosate is, it's the number one herbicide that is in Monsanto Bayer's Roundup chemical spray, and they spray it all over our grass lawns. It's also sprayed on 70% of conventional farming crops to help them have an earlier harvest. But what they're finding is that it's a major gut microbiome disruptor, and about 95% of Americans have been tested to have it in their system. They're even finding it in babies' umbilical cords. So babies are coming into this world with compromised gut microbiome. And this leads to many things. This leads to allergies and chronic inflammation and even mental disorders and emotional disorders and so much more. So between those two things, I was like, wow, it must be a combination of the soil, and it must be a combination of the chemicals, the environmental toxins that we're exposed to. And that's when I came across Purium, and I started researching and learning about this company and their integrity and commitment to offering the highest quality nutrients that they can possibly offer to the world, to help people learn about glyphosate, detoxify glyphosate from the body, and then also deeply, deeply nourish with, like I said, nutrients that are grown in regenerative soils. And so when I started taking these products, immediately I noticed an enhanced energy. I was sleeping better. But to be honest, it was about 2 months of consistently taking these products when I had my aha moment of like, oh, this is what I remember feeling like. Like, this is the vibrant energy that I remember feeling before I had kids. And at that point, I had the same moment as Lisa of like, I've just got to tell everyone I know, specifically mamas, about this nutrition so that I can help other people who may feel depleted in their lives. So our commitment to quality and purity is just above and beyond. Dave, the owner of our company, is actually one of the leading members who helped get the organic USDA label. He went to the Senate with a cohort of people to create that verification label. So there's a standard on organic. And from then on, he's just been going above and beyond organic in terms of what these products are and what these formulations have to offer people. So that is our core value of health. And then we have our core value of wealth. And to be honest, this is what I'm most passionate about and sharing when it comes to Purium, is the opportunities that it's allowing for economic empowerment. So when I found Purium, I was also a single mom struggling financially. I was working multiple jobs. I was trying to bring my husband over from West Africa, and the immigration process was very expensive. I was burning the candle at both ends, trying to just make ends meet and figure out how to provide for my family. And this is when Purium came into my life, and I realized like there are some things that I hold to be very important to me. It's having time flexibility, being able to be my own boss. I really wanted to be able to work from home to raise my children. And I also wanted to have the creativity to share my passions of health and wellness with people. And I realized that Purium checked all those boxes. So Purium is really about empowering individuals, moms, dads, caregivers, other entrepreneurs, other professionals, artists, activists, whoever it may be, to have this ability to have something in their pocket where you can create an online business through the social sharing economy and share with your friends and family and people you meet along the way, and build a business that is supporting the everyday individual. So, when you're supporting Purium, you're not supporting huge billionaire companies like Whole Foods and Amazon. You're supporting individuals who are bringing in an income for their families, bringing in an income that is supporting their bigger dreams and passions. So we do have a activism group of Purium called the Million Mom Movement, and it's really about empowerment for families. And it's about, if we can reach 1,000 people in 100 different communities, and they can each share health and wellness with 10 people, that's 1 million strong people creating health and wealth empowerment for the world and beyond. So That's our second pillar. And then our third pillar is planet. We are supremely dedicated to the environment. We're going to be almost 100% plastic free by the end of the year. So our company is transitioning from plastic into biodegradable bamboo and hemp packaging that the owners have invented themselves. It's non-GMO packaging. We also have one of the most carbon decreased food delivery systems, because the food here with Purium is picked fresh on the farm. It's then wind and sun dehydrated on the farm, and it's shipped to the facility in California where the formulations are put together, and then it's shipped straight to your door. So taking out all the middlemen, all those extra trucks and transportation that our food goes through at the grocery store. And this is really some of the like highest quality food that you can get, that if you're not growing it out of your own garden. It's also allowing us to get food to people who are in food deserts, who don't have the ability to go to the grocery store and get whole foods for themselves. So, there's many things that this company stands for with the environment, but number one is, regenerating the soils, decreasing our carbon footprint, and eliminating plastic waste, and really trying to lead the way as a company so that other companies can follow suit and do the same. And then our last pillar is purpose. And I love what Lisa said about having the community support. For me, Purium has been a vehicle in which I've been able to pour my passions into, my passions of helping others, my passions of serving humanity at a greater level, my passions of coming together with community and networks who are passionate about making the world a better place, and how I've been able to build my business. I've been with Purium for 3 years, and I was able to hit 6 figures in 2 years, going from being a single mom, barely, struggling financially, to now having a 6-figure business and really flourishing with my family, is that I've just poured my passion into it. I've allowed Purium to become a vehicle for me that allows me to just share and educate with my community, with my friends about, living organically, about living a greener life, about, doing things that are better for the environment, and about coming together and working together. We can do a lot more together than we can singularly. And I think that is one of my most favorite things about Purium, is coming together and living our passions to serve humanity at a greater level. So health, wealth, planet, and purpose are our core values. And Lisa, I would love to pass it back to you so your friends and family can just hear a little bit about how these core values align with you and what you're passionate about.
Thanks so much, Mary. And yeah, I'm going to kind of step back here for a moment to kind of weave this all together and to where I'm going to. So about 9.5 years ago, I was living in Seattle at the time and trying to get my massage practice going. And this one morning, really early, like around 4 a.m., I woke up with 2 words in my mind, and they were embodiment project. And I could not go back to sleep. I had no idea what it meant. I had no idea like what it was all about or anything, but I had this really like in my body knowing that it was important and it was going to be really important. And I didn't need to know what it was right away. And I perhaps over time recognized that I wasn't ready to know what it was right away. So over the last 9.5 years, and as I mentioned, my journey through all of these different realms of natural health and practicing and sharing my work with people, and my passion around this idea that we can feel so much better than we are feeling these days, little bits would come to me, and it would be like, okay, this is a piece of the embodiment project, and this is a piece of the embodiment project. And over time, I developed this kind of like tagline for it that was live from the inside out, which is really for me just a matter of deciding in any given moment if what I'm choosing to do with myself and my time and in my actions and words, if it's aligned with who I like, the truth of who I am and the vision that I have for myself and my family and the world, or if it's not. And that's really become a beautiful kind of gauge for me as I move through life. And yeah, I started a website about 3.5 years ago. I finally got to the point where I was like, I need to do something with all of this stuff that's kind of been coming to me over the years. And I started a website. You can check it out if you want. It's absolutely partial. I haven't looked at it in like 3.5 years until just a couple weeks ago. But I was amazed when I started looking through what I had started to build there at what it all said, because right in the front, it says it's a movement to realign with nature and a commitment to living with greater purpose and connection and joy. And it gives me chills still to think about beginning to build this online community. I had a vision for it to be like just a catalog of as many resources as I could collect for people to come and find healing and, just different, anything that they were ready to connect with in terms of like feeling better in their own lives, whether it's mental or physical or emotional, spiritual. And I pretty soon after I started building that website became overwhelmed with trying to create it myself. And I shortly thereafter became pregnant again. And so it just kind of like, I let it go again and was like, all right, it's still not time. I had this feeling like, I'm not ready for this yet. Still, I don't have what I need to make this go. And, I really had the feeling that it was like my life's work, like this was going to be something big in my life, and my contribution to the world, but I didn't know how I was going to get compensated for it. I was really committed to offering it completely free and with zero advertisements and pop-ups and all that garbage that's on so many websites these days. And I was beginning to accept at one point that I may never get compensated for my time and energy, but I was feeling really strongly that I wanted to compensate anyone else who contributed to it, for their time and energy and the resources that they shared. So I was starting to look into different ways that I could make this all work, got overwhelmed, let it go, also got pregnant. And so that was part of the letting go. And PRM came into my life, and as I've started building this, and now as I've kind of reconnected with this other bigger vision that I've had, it's become so clear to me that PRM came into my life because it's a part of this bigger vision, and it's a means and a vehicle for people to bring people together. Really, I realized at one point that I wasn't meant to create the embodiment project by myself. It's not the creation of a one single person. It will only be created by people coming together and connecting and sharing in their own purpose and their own passion and bringing their own joy and inspiration and sharing that. And so it's really become, it kind of just like, it gives me the chills to think about what I had in mind back then and what's come into my life and the opportunity that I have now to build it and share it and work with people that inspire me, whether it's other people that are in the healing arts or other moms that are ready to kind of take more control over their own time and their family's time, and farmers and people that are working to regenerate the planet in different ways and different sustainability realms and all of that. So I'm really excited to have Purium be the kind of platform and vehicle that I can use to expand and grow this other bigger vision that I have. And I'm excited to connect really with anyone who's ready to have a conversation about what that might look like, because it's going to take so many different minds and hearts coming together to really bring it into reality, which is ultimately where I'm going. And I'm really inspired to build it in whatever time, in whatever way that comes, and to utilize this vehicle that I feel so fully aligned with to make it happen. So I'm going to invite Mary to come back on just for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap it up real quick. And my family just got home, so I'm going to go on mute.
Awesome, Lisa. It's so great to hear your bigger visions and your bigger dreams. And that's something that I really love about what Purium has brought to me and many people that I see in this realm, is that it's helping us dream again. It's helping us see what the resources are that we need to connect to make our dreams really happen. And Lisa, I just want to honor you for sharing that with people and letting, part of the reason Lisa's holding this call is just to let you all know what it is that she's envisioning, what it is that she's growing and stepping into. So if you would love to support Lisa in this process of not only building her Purium business, but building, the funds, her Purium business can support this bigger vision. Number one, if you want to learn more about our products, just reach out to Lisa. Like, you can even text her. If you come off this call, just text her the word product and she can share with you. We have over 70 amazing organic products that help, it can help moms, but it can help anyone. We can go through detoxes. Like I said, we have the one and only product on the market that detoxes glyphosate. We have products for athletes. We have products for families and kids, and just products that you can incorporate into your daily lifestyle for enhanced nutrition. There's so many amazing solutions that we have to provide for people who may be wanting an up level on their health. So, reach out to Lisa if you're running into people and you find people on the street, or your neighbor, or your auntie who's talking about needing a health upgrade. Think of Lisa, send them her way. The second way is, if you want to learn more about this business, if you want to learn more about the community we have here, if you're someone who's looking for another way to make another stream of income, or potentially, have more of a passion in your work and share about healthy living and lifestyle and educating the masses around that, this may be a home for you as well. And it may open the door for you to be able to fund some of your other dreams as well. So you can text or email or write to Lisa that you're interested in learning more about this business and what we have here with the Purium economy. Thirdly, you may not be interested in either of those things, but you may just really want to cheer Lisa on and see her grow and blossom in her vision. So just let Lisa know that you're cheering her on, and, send her a note every once in a while, like, how's your business going? And just let her know that you're cheering her on from afar, because that's really amazing to have that kind of support as well. And then the last way is, I kind of touched on this as well, but referrals. If you happen to run into anyone or hear of anyone that might be a great collaboration for Lisa, either in her website that she's building or potentially here with Purium, again, think of Lisa, connect them. This business is all about connection and relationship, and just helping to connect people with the solutions that they're looking for. So health solutions, wealth solutions, planet solutions, and solutions for connecting people more with their purpose and their community. So Lisa, I'm really excited to support you in all of this that you're visioning up, and thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thank you so much for your support and your mentorship over the last couple of years, Mary. I really appreciate you. And I, again, just really appreciate everyone who showed up tonight and was able to be here in energetic presence. And yeah, I have this feeling that what I'm building and where I'm going could have massive impact in the world. And I'm trusting that the path that I'm on will get me there, and that the connections and the relationships and the resources that I need will continue to show up as I am ready for them, and as I'm prepared to kind of weave it all together and build the embodiment project. We'll wrap it up here, and with you all virtually again.
Shoots, Lisa, we lost you. She's in Mexico with somewhat good internet connection, but I think what she was saying is just appreciating you all for being here and letting you know that she can follow up with each and every one of you, and just would love to hear your takeaways from what she's sharing and what she's envisioning. So have a great night, everyone. Thank you for coming. Good to see so many, Tara and Marianne and Dakota. Hi, Claudia.
Hi, nice to see you.